somewhere in the world? Like,
They do.
Don't they have ducks that they float down? The Thames. Don't they float ducks
And
down
they do
the
it in
Thames?
Sydney too.
In Sydney.
I was actually the Great Duck Race mascot for 2 years. And shit, you know what? In Sydney. A costume character bloke.
Sick. Did you do
It
any?
was shit, actually. Getting beaten up. Wearing a big duck. But what they do is everyone
Drew
would...
McDuck.
Yeah. Everyone would buy a duck and it would have a number on it.
Yeah.
And they'd drop them off a boat somewhere. Like, I can't remember.
Is
Maybe
this in the
Kangaroo
harbour?
Island in the harbour.
Yeah.
Thousands. You know, if you paid $5, it all went to charity. And the first duck to get to this part of the harbour was the winner, and whatever that meant.
No way.
It was pretty exciting.
Could
So
you
everyone's
put
like,
like
yeah.
a little keel, like a little,
A little,
like,
yeah, flag.
sail on him or something like that?
Oh, man, did I tell you what I did?
Just to pick up a bit more of the draft.
I actually got a boat.
Yeah.
I'll be real quick because I want to get back to Tame the Tight Man. But there's, just like what you're saying, man, I got a little yacht thing given to me. It was actually from Buskers by the Creek, and the sail was broken.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to put a little... Okay, so I sailed it out pushed it out behind the breakers, and the thing just kept going. I had my name written on it. If you find this, just call me,
It's like
please.
a message in a bottle.
Yeah, but it was a big yacht. It was like 1.2 high.
Yeah.
The thing just went out, and then for 45 minutes, I'm going, it's sort of just going out. This is perfect. It was like a bit of a wind pushing it out. And then just like a weird acid trip or something, after 45 minutes, it just reversed backwards. It got like in the weird current, but it never turned around. It had a
just
rudder.
came straight back
just
in.
came straight back in, and surfers were starting to have a look at it. I went, nah. So I got it. But I want to put a little tracker. You can get little $25 trackers, apparently.
Yeah.
Stick it in there, sail it out. Well, no, get someone. I know someone with a... Everyone, by the way, on Instagram went a bit... They were into that story a little.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, well, so someone I know said, mate...
Should have started to
old
New
mate goes
Zealand.
out in his boat. Why don't we chuck it out there on a westerly wind and just see where it goes? Put a little tracker in it and see where it goes.
Who knows, man? It could end up
With
in
Ricka's phone number on it.
Could end up in Hawaii.
Hey, Seaman.
Oh, I might go.
Able seaman. I have come to commandeer this vessel.
That might
Anyway.
be a plan.
Yeah, you could find your bloke.
Maybe.
Oi, I got something.
In Fiji.
I got
Yeah?
something
You
shit
like
off
them.
for you.
Okay, here we go.
Here, wait, check that out.
Back to the game. Wow. So somewhere in the Broadwater,
Oh, that's at Marina Mirage.
Marina Mirage, look at this black helicopter with this
yeah.
big kick-ass camera on the front.
Yeah.
So that's going to be what's going to film you guys.
Yeah, so that thing films on finals day, Sunday, the 18th of March.
Yeah.
It's got some crazy, ridiculous, like 3,000 foot digital zoom. I've seen the footage that it produces, and let me just say, like, it's somewhat invasive. Like, it's very stable, it's very clear, and it can zoom a long way.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so from up there you can get some real sports footage out of it.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. That's why I've incorporated these guys, because of what they do. They with the 6-axis, it can move any which way, and the thing can pretty much lock on a horizontal and just be like level. So with drones,
Who are these guys again?
this is Gold Coast Heli Tours.
Right.
Yeah, at Marina Mirage.
With drones? Yeah.
Yeah. So we've used drones before, and drones are a really, really great way of filming, compatible and obviously affordable for us. But they just don't. They provide a good enough means to promote the sport of what we do. However, if we're looking to like step into the next benchmark of really professional, like, you know, exposure, this is it. And unfortunately, it costs a lot of money. But from that, there's going to be a lot of return. So with the future of this event being 5 years strong, this is its inaugural event where there's a lot of learning curves. There's going to be a lot of mistakes and a lot of lessons learned. But there's also going to be a lot of things that we can do this year that can build on the future. And for next year, especially when we're looking at producing an event video, we can utilise all our footage from the day on the land with our drones, but we can also utilise this stuff from an aerial point of view. We can maybe potentially sell it to like networks, you know, whether it be Fox, 10, 9, 7, whoever decides that they might want to do like a little piece on it. Channel 10 actually followed us down to Mount Panorama in 2009, I believe, and they basically did a story on us called Panorama Punks, and it's still being aired now on
Wow.
Channel 10. Yeah, and I mean, they followed us around for like, I think it was like nearly 2 weeks. It was like a 2-week road trip, down and back, and then whatnot. But that was the catalyst and the highlight of the tour. The road trip was this Newton's event. It's a World Cup, the first event of the World Cup series, and they came, they filmed, they produced this epic production, put it together, aired it, and it went really well. And I guess now it's like a filler. So any time that they've got half an hour to fill in between programs on Channel 10, they might chuck this in.
Well,
Yeah.
how could you not watch it? It's sort of like it's like
I
watching
know.
bull riding. You may not follow bull riding,
Yeah.
but if it comes on, you're like, oh wow,
Look at these
look at
crazy
these
cats.
lunatics. Yeah.
But you are crazy.
Well, I said cats.
He's a crazy cunt anyway.
No, because when was the first time you thought, I'm going to risk my life and just skate down a steep fucking hill, regardless of whether there's traffic coming my way or not?
I've been
What were you thinking?
I've been skating to and from work since I was like 16, and I've worked at Burleigh, and I skated from like Mermaid to Burleigh, and at different times I'd skate around Burleigh while I wasn't working in between my shifts and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of hills around Burleigh, and they're steep and they're short, and they usually end in like a T section. So, yeah, I mean,
Were you wearing a helmet then?
no,
So am I seeing my son's future in you?
possibly.
Possibly.
I really don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's all progression, and you might start doing something one way, and you might feel that through your idols or through the people that you watch or through lessons that you've learned that you might change those things, and whether that's got anything to do with like your riding style, the skill set that you wish to achieve, or safety, it's just part and parcel of the growth.
But when you so
How old is your son? He's
16.
yeah, man.
So he's
got
been
heaps
skating to school since year 10.
he's got heaps of growing to do.
Yeah, but you started.
But he cares about his head as well.
Yeah.
These guys get so good at it. It's the kid that thinks, yeah, I can just like do something.
Oh,
and
yeah,
and
I understand
everyone
that.
has that moment though.
I understand that, but like, because you're going down. All right, like I don't know much about the Burleigh Hills, but I keep picturing like Currumbin Rock Pool out that way. Those kinds of like real windy.
Yeah, they're real mellow, but they're nice
they
and
mellow?
windy. Yeah, really mellow.
Crap bitumen.
Oh, as in like not steep,
No,
but they would be really scary because you don't know what's coming around the corner.
there's this road that's well, let's get back to Taipan.
Yeah.
Taipan's ridiculously steep.
Is that? I was going to ask you actually. I forgot.
I'm a little bit worried about having a bus full of skateboarders. 30 people in a bus, driving them up the hill and actually getting them up the hill.
Oh, that's steep.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't get the buses up there. I'm just going to have to ask people to walk. There's no other
Why
way.
can't you do? But
I can't.
Are you
Unless-
thinking, but were you thinking like getting a 48-seater Scania or something?
Nah, like the 25, 22-seater. And
like
just
a coaster or
the
something.
coaster.
Yeah.
And just jam a couple of bums on the seats.
Yep.
yeah.
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 Yeah. We don't need seatbelts. We're on a private estate,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we could probably
But
put...
the coasters go all right.
They do go all right.
Yeah.
I've just had I've had a couple of guys like tell me that getting up that there's different events going around. Like one is an outlaw event called Midnight Madness. A couple of my buddies, the Monkey Pig crew, chuck on this event, Midnight Madness, and essentially it gets all the Gold Coast skateboarders together after hours when the roads are nice and quiet. They chuck on safety lights and all that sort of stuff and mob all the epic hills because you can see at night.
Right.
I know it
What do you
sounds.
mean?
Well, this is it. I was just going to explain that.
Yeah.
It seems weird because it's dark,
Dark.
but when you're in the dark, your eyes acclimatise, so you can see a lot better. And when you've got lights underneath your board, they're not actually interfering with your perception of what's dark out there. But for any oncoming traffic, they can see that there's traffic coming.
Yeah.
So you've got a red light on the back and a white light on the front, just like a bike.
Yeah.
So you're mobbing down hills and you can see visually like what's going on. You can see the white lines in the moonlight. Right. You know, the edges of the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Must
very,
feel
very
fast though. Wow.
It does, because it's cooler. When it's cooler, everything's a lot quicker. The air's less dense.
But you can't actually see the
depth?
The depth of the images of your eyes and how fast you're kind of going. All you can see is that fast bit going underneath your board.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but also, like, these roads we've been skating these roads since the late 90s as well.
So you've begun from hearing as well. You would know the sounds, I'd imagine, your sport.
Feel, sounds. I mean, see, this is the thing. I travel, and when I was traveling, I never ever really wore leathers, and that was just primarily because I enjoyed the feeling of having like the restriction of the air breaking my speed down the hill through my clothes, and
you would have to walk back up the hill, right?
Oh man, you always got to walk back up the hill somewhere.
It's just wild to me. Like, that's where maybe I'm just old now. When I see, like, just near my house on Baines Road in Currumbin Valley, there's like a really cool guys have made like a mountain bike deal, you know.
Yeah.
And I've gone up there, take the kids, yeah. And you walk back up a couple of times, you go, fire out, these guys just like love their sport so much.
Yeah.
For that 10 seconds of downhill unreal time, it must be so addictive. It's like surfing to me, I guess, where the ride is only 1.5 seconds on average, you know, like 3-second ride.
Yeah.
But you spend so much time paddling. But I think that's an easy thing to do. But you guys are like, you're walking up the steepest hills ever of all time and still love the sport.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it for years. It's where I started. It was like I had no one driving me back up the hill. So I was like, well, to get my thrill, I need to walk back up and do it all over again. And I mean, I was still doing that until last year when I really sort of like was focusing on my skateboarding. You know, obviously this year 2017, I've focused a little bit more on my family. But yeah, right up to the start of 2017 and to 2016, I was still hiking hills. I'll still hike hill tomorrow. If
What
That's
about
sort of something real funny.
the estate that you're going to have? What is it? Tame the Taipan.
Yep.
You do walk up that hill normally.
Yeah, I have done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've walked up that hill plenty of times. And I haven't even skated down it some of the times that I've walked up it because I've been out there with those measuring
sticks.
things.
The wheels. Yeah.
I've been out there a lot setting up for this event, and it's like, how many hay bales?
We should go there right now.
We should.
We should finish this podcast there.
Yeah.
Could we?
No, but wait.
Could you drive?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No, but wait. Okay, because you said you've been skating there for the last 5 years. Is that what you said?
Like 7.
7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Okay. So does that give you an advantage in this competition then?
Oh, it would.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, if I was skateboarding, but
you're not?
I'm the organiser, so I can't.
Wild card.
I can't skate.
Oh,
I'm calling the wild card.
And I'm washed up anyway.
Whatever.
I don't
You only won it last year.
So how many?
You won the big Bathurst race last year. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
But how many people are going to participate in it?
We're aiming for 150.
150.
Yeah, and if everything went well with the International World Cup event following it in 2 weeks' time, we would have 150 riders here. However, there's been a bit of a hiccup with the Bathurst City Council, and they can't hold it on the weekend after. So it's going to be 2 weekends after, which is sort of tricky for international travellers. You know, they got to come across here for like the better part of a month instead of just a fortnight.
Yeah.
Good bloody Brazos coming over here wanting to take this event. No!
But so how does it work then? Like, sorry, I'm just really curious.
I love it. Just keep asking the questions.
So 150, is it like they all start together at the start line, or is it like
I wish.
That is the best thing.
I'm glad to that.
I'm
Cash
actually,
for cash.
dude. Yeah,
$1,000 Rick are holding $1,000 cash in a bikini. Come get it. Who's going to win?
dude.
No,
Tame
is
the
it-
Taipan. Would you dress up in a snake suit?